But on the other hand, sometimes he can eat just like a little bird. Trying to organize a group of 3 or 4-year-olds is like trying to herd a bunch of cats. But you know, we don't want to be a pack of lemmings or even like a flock of sheep. And we all know people who are as sly as a fox. Good job. He always gets my goat. You want to swim with the fish. They let out a wolf whistle, which really embarrassed her because she's really as timid as a mouse. You guys are good. To be as wise as an old or as gentle as a, but never as stubborn as a. You guys are good. See, where would we be without our animal companions? Our figures of speech would be so less rich, for one thing. Animals have provided covering for our fragile skins, food for our empty bellies. Sorry, vegans. Bones for tools, oil for our lamps, free labor for our fields and for our farms. And although it is very controversial, they have been subjects for scientific experiments and studies that have both benefited you and me. And yet for most of us living in suburbia or in the city someplace, our connection to the creaturely world comes exclusively through the companionship of those animal friends we call our pets. For the more politically correct animal advocates, animal companion is always the preferred term because it takes away any connotation whatsoever of ownership. After all, do we really own our pets, or do they own us? From my own experience as a caretaker of St. Emma, I would vote for the latter option. I actually have a sign at my home that somebody from within the church gave me that says, "One dog lives here and her wait staff of 1. We know who rules the roost. You guys are good. We are responsible for their food, their shelter, and their veterinary care. And to that extent, we are their keepers. But the truth be told, they keep us as surely as we keep them. But they keep us through their strong and sure bonds of unconditional affection and love. We keep them through care, and they keep us through their loyalty. And for the most part, like I said one more time before, earlier, they are usually, even now, as quiet as a mouse. And I thought it was going to be a zoo. It is. It's a mutually reciprocal relationship. A dog comes to you and lives with you in your own home, but you do not therefore own it, as you do not own the rain or the trees or the laws that pertain to them. We're more like companions together on the road. And that's what I like to think about this whole thing. We're just companions together on the road. We kind of take care of each other, us companions, by their silent companionship and their extravagant giving of affection, whether we deserve it or not. Our animal companions also call us to a more morally conscious position in the world. Living with pets puts us a little bit closer to what Albert Schweitzer called having a reverence for life. They represent the natural world, messy and sometimes volatile. You know, if only we could treat each other as we do our household pets. On one level, we simply live with the delight of our animal's presence. How can we but admire their absolute comfort with themselves? You know, if you ever get overly anxious, just look at a cat as a role model. Cats think every day is the Lord's day. Every day is a day of rest. They stretch, they clean themselves. They can be very content no matter what is going on in the world around them. They pretty much do their own thing. They eat, they sleep, especially in the sun or curled up on the warmth of a bed. They know how to be relaxed and at peace. And they also know how to play. And yet they can be quite aloof of it all. We love our animals. They ask so little of us. They respond to the simple pleasures of existence with such fullness of spirit. The guy who wrote the book entitled The Bible According to Noah tells the simple story of a quiet moment in the life of one African baboon. A friend who worked in Africa with an endangered species, he writes, showed me a photograph he had taken of a mandrill quietly sitting, gazing and pondering on the setting sun. The fading light apparently affected the baboon as it would you or me. And it seemed like the monkey just stopped to muse and to think, experiencing a moment of contemplation or enchantment. It was as if he was appreciating the moment. He was caught up in the present. You know, there's this beautiful passage from the book of Job that says, ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea, and they shall declare unto thee. Who among all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done all this? In whose hand is the soul of every living thing? That's written in the book of Job. They love, they feel pain, and they certainly seem to grieve the death of their own loved ones, their mates, their children, and members of their pride or their pack or their litter. I don't think they form bonds merely for survival. But maybe they do. I'm not their judge, I'm just a companion on the road. I often think of Mark Twain's famous remark that man is the only animal that blushes, or needs to. I'm also aware of Mahatma Gandhi, who once remarked that the measure of a society's morality could be measured by how they treat their animals. How many times we have commented about how good they have it. If we embrace the Native American spiritual practice of regarding animals as our relations, interacting with them mindfully, prudently, and compassionately, maybe then we'd have less reason to blush. All we can do is begin with mindfulness and gratitude for all that our animal companions provide us with. Those of you who have gathered here this evening out of a sense of love for your animal companions, thank you for sheltering. Thank you for feeding, and thank you for caring for your friends who journey with you. Some of you have rescued. You have to wonder who rescued who. To live with them and care for them is a privilege, a blessing. It's an exercise in humility, patience, and respect for our differences. And again, now if only we could do that with our neighbors. Remember, we're just all companions together on the road. We have always called this liturgy the blessing of our animal companions. But I've come to realize that it is they who truly bless us.